Well, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our St. Raphael School Facebook page. We have 5 questions with your classical educator back, but with a twist. For this week and next, we'll be actually interviewing instructors, parents, and students about St. Raphael School and what makes it remarkable. Today we have with us Sarah Smith. Mrs. Smith is going to be teaching new this year. Welcome, Mrs. Smith. She'll be teaching Old Testament, Torah, and Hebrew, and we're very excited about that. So before we get to the questions, because we have our 5 questions, before we get to the questions, I'm going to pass it over to Mrs. Smith, and she can actually introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, so I am Sarah Smith. I am a wife, a mom of 2 little kids. I actually became Orthodox in 2019. I was chrismated. I came to Orthodoxy through really study. I went to both a undergraduate Protestant school and then a seminary master's degree at a Protestant school. And ended up after that kind of studied my way into Orthodoxy. And one of the things that I'm very passionate about is the Old Testament, specifically like Hebrew language, archaeology, just really getting into the nitty-gritty history of that ancient era and just how we get to the text of the Old Testament that we have today. And so I am just really excited about both the Old Testament itself and bringing that to life for students, but then also bringing in this perspective of how all of this relates to Orthodoxy, because some of my journey into Orthodoxy really was noticing some of this tabernacle worship that you read about in the very beginnings of the Bible happening in front of me in liturgy. Yes. And that was one of the first things that grabbed me towards Orthodoxy. And so just also kind of bringing in that perspective as someone who very much had to wrestle their way into the Orthodox faith. So that's a brief little bit about me.
Love it, love it, love it. And it's so true, right? What we do, how we worship is all tied back, and we are the fulfillment of the Old Covenant. We're the New Covenant, the New Testament. And so I love that. So, I know I personally am excited because I love the Old Testament, and I longed for many years to learn the Hebrew language. So I look forward to seeing our students doing that. So I'm very excited about that. Very, very excited. So welcome. We are so happy you have found us and you are going to be with us. All right, time for your questions. Question number 1. Who is your favorite author? Name and explain.
Ooh. Okay. My favorite author is actually Orson Scott Card. He's a sci-fi writer.
Ooh.
I like him because I like his characters. His characters always have very honest struggles, but kind of not in the way you expect. And I like how philosophical his books always get, and it's always by characters struggling with something, and then the philosophy that brings out. So, where you might have heard of him in kind of movie, I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago, Ender's Game became a movie. Mm-hmm. That's something that he was known for, and I think he wrote that back in the 70s or 80s, though. But I've read a ton of his books, so he is probably my favorite author.
Wow, we have that in common because I do love my sci-fi. Actually, recently, this past summer, we did, if you haven't read it, we thought it was excellent, the students and I, and parents, we did the York series, and it's sci-fi, alternate universe, historical fiction, all rolled up into one. And we loved it so much that we read it over the summer, three books in the series. And then we did a speed read over winter break. So during Christmas break, we read it again, and it was fabulous. But we still haven't figured things out. So we're saying
I've not heard of it, so I'll add it to my. I will add it to my book list.
You will love it. Oh, I'll send it straight to you afterwards. Okay, and for those of you watching, I'll put the name into the description so you can have it too. All right, next question. What is your favorite quote having to do with education?
Ooh, okay. This doesn't directly sound like it's education, but I really 100% think it is, especially in the classical model. I'm going to close my eyes to make sure I say it right because it's been a long time since I've said it. So it's watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And the authors or the quote is unknown. I don't really know where it comes from. I read it in high school at the beginning of like a blurb in something, and I wrote it on everything. I love it because it's ultimately how your thoughts become your character. And I think that, and I know it doesn't seem like a thing on education at first, but I think it really demonstrates that how you start your thinking ultimately is going to end up where you go, whether it's a virtue or a vice, whether it's walking towards God and towards theosis. I'm going to put that fancy word out there, or it's walking away from God and saying like, I don't want to be a part of the garden. I don't want to be a part of paradise. And so I think it's the point of education is not to give people data. The point of education is to figure out who to become in Christ. And so in that sense, I very much like that quote. Because it's all about how you think will ultimately lead to who you become. And you can either become like Christ or you can become not like Christ ultimately.
Whoa. Yeah, that formation is huge. Huge. Beautiful quote. Thank you. All right. What hobbies do you enjoy?
Reading and writing, which I'm sure everyone says, but I will always find me reading and writing all the time. Other than that, I have 2 little kids. So, just walking, like literally going on a walk and pushing a stroller is nice. Back before I had kids, you would find me horseback riding, singing. I'm a singer. So in my church, I'm in the choir. So singing, reading, writing, and if I had a horse at my disposal, horseback riding. Nice.
Very nice. Well, we have several students that horseback ride and of course sing and chant in the church. Several students. Too many that probably I can, quite a few. So that'll be a great thing for you all to talk about. Great. A very important question here. What's one food or beverage you really enjoy?
Lasagna, but when I say lasagna, I mean my family's recipe from Calabria, Italy, that we have taken with us for over 2 centuries that we make every Christmas Eve. So I'm not talking about stovers that you stick in the oven.
And is it like a top secret recipe?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's 5 cheeses in it, and I have to go to the Italian market to buy the cheeses because you can't just like go to Kroger and get the cheese you need. But no, I mean, we've replaced homemade sauce with Prego sauce, and so. But I mean, it's an all cheese because in Calabria meat was a delicacy, and
right.
It was if you had meat, it was supposed to be on the side because it was a special thing. So it is a meatless lasagna, which people think is weird, but then we have meatballs and sausage on the side because historically you would never tarnish your meat by putting it in with the pasta. So.
I love it. And I imagine those 5 specific cheeses, whatever they are, give that distinct taste.
Yes, actually, it's funny. My husband doesn't. It's not that he doesn't like it. It's he prefers lasagna with like cottage cheese.
Yeah,
because that's kind of the Americanized thing.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's
or mozzarella.
It's got to have like mozzarella and Romano and Parmesan and ricotta, and it's got to have all that. Like it's
Yeah, that's why I figured because it has a very distinct taste. We have something similar in the Greek culture in which, when you make a specific dish, you need cassetti, and that type of cheese has a very specific taste.
You
And
gotta,
need that.
you've got to grown up with the taste buds, or it takes a while. Yeah.
You're right. Well, that's cool. Yay. And then last but not least, when and how did you decide to become an educator?
I've always wanted to be one. I wanted originally back years ago. I mean, when I say years, I mean like 4 or 5 years ago. I wanted to get a PhD in the ancient Near East, which is a fancy word for saying like the ancient world as we know it, where the start of human civilization is, and kind of the start of language, the start of cities. That's kind of our fancy word for ancient Near East.
Wow.
So even in my master's, I started auditing PhD level courses for that to try to get a leg up. But, life happens and you become a mom and you get married, and I never did that. And so it's always something that I always wanted to be an educator. I was a pastor in the Protestant church for a while and was very passionate about Bible studies and teaching, but I've never been in a formal education setting. Don't let that dissuade you. I have a fun time teaching. I've led Bible studies in young adult groups, and just love teaching and talking. And I had like a blog at one time up that I did take down. But it was pretty successful for a while, that got into some Old Testament things. So I'm very passionate about this era and just bringing it to life and realizing that the struggles that were there 5,000 years ago are still our struggles today. And they're right in front of us in our Bible. We just have to learn to see it, because it's an utterly different world than we live in. But once we understand it, we can relate to it. And it's so essential for who we are. So I think it's just, I've always loved literature. I've always loved talking about books with people too, like a lit crit sort of thing. So, I mean, that's, so I've always loved to learn and to dialogue with people. And that's really what my classes are going to be based on, is a lot of dialogue, a lot of discussion, and a lot of getting into literature, so.
And I concur. I just remember, of course, watching you teach. You went into one of our courses and you were teaching about the Old Testament and Hebrew language, and I was enthralled. I was like, wow, I want to learn more. so it really is. You definitely have a gift for teaching, and we are excited that you have joined us here at St. Raphael School. So welcome. And once again, for everyone, Sarah Smith is teaching Old Testament Torah on the Torah semester class. So we are starting something new with semester classes, as you all have seen during preview week. And also she'll be teaching the Hebrew language, and that's a year-long class. And again, we're very excited about that. So, come and check us out, see what's remarkable about St. Raphael School. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we will be happy to answer them. So, Sarah, any last minute comments?
No, just, I guess my last comment is just embrace being young and learning. I know sometimes, especially when you're maybe age 12 to 18, learning in school might seem silly, or like some sort of thing you have to do to appease your parents or society or whatever, but enjoy it. This is your chance to ask tough questions and fight back mentally with like, yes, why do I have to do this? Ask questions, be a little rebellious with how you think. It's okay. This is your time to do that, because, 10, 20 years down the line, you're going to look back at this and you're going to go, this is my time to explore the world and doubt and wonder, and all of that is appropriate. So just have fun when you pick your classes and try to challenge yourself and let it be a little rebellious. That's okay. That's how old you are. So anyway.
Well, I love that you brought up, the premise is awe and wonder, right? Awe and wonder, and this sense of discovery. And that is what we try to instill in all of our students, is that awe and wonder, because God is good all the time. So thank you so much for coming, Mrs. Smith. We really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, those of you that are watching. And we will be actually having many more of these throughout the next 2 weeks, starting today until April 8th. Of course, registration opens up April 4th. Please make sure that you are registering early, because there are many classes that will fill up quickly. And as you all know, we limit our class size to 15. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. Otherwise, we will see you next time.